All right, we'll call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The first or second item of business on our annual meeting agenda is the election of a chairperson.
I move you be the chair.
Do I hear any seconds?
I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded that I, the president, be the chair. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Then the next item of business will be the approval of the 2017 annual meeting minutes. If you'd like to take a minute and read them.
So everything's in your packet in front of you. Nothing's in the book with the printout. So the 2017 minutes are on page 5. Yeah.
The top should say 17.
Should be 2017.
Yeah.
All right. Duly noted. The top should say 2017.
I'd move approval of the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded.
Can a school board member second?
Does that have to be it?
Yeah, they can because
Okay.
they're or they're community members as well.
Okay.
Okay. Been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2017 annual meeting minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes, and then we'll move on to the approval of the budget and tax levy. And I'll leave that to Mr. Ernst.
Okay, so I'm going to go to page 7 of the document. The budget summary starts on page 7 and goes through page 13. So very similar to the preliminary budget, there's really only some minor changes. Like I shared with you before, a lot of this stuff is kind of shooting in the dark as far as best guesses. A lot of the official numbers, I should say some of the official numbers for this stuff comes in. Most of it is in October of the stuff that's not set right now. So if you look at the top page 7, it's exact same as the preliminary budget. The local sources go to $1,049,816. The next line is again a best guess that inter-district transfers. That's a open enrollment. That's best guess based off of mostly kids that are already open enrolled. Not a whole lot of projections with that guess. Transitive aids, that's a state aid through CISA. That's the $3,000. Then you move into the state revenue. You have the transportation aid, library aid, the per pupil, like I explained during the preliminary. It's a 3-year average. That's moving from 450 per student to 650 per student. So that's why there's a fairly significant increase from the previous year, from last year. Equalization aid, that's a general state aid. Again, those numbers are official in October, but that best guess is in that 4.8 million range. The sparsity aid, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be 60,000 more than what's listed, but I just wanted to budget conservatively just in case it doesn't happen. But that 200,000 most likely, I'm hopeful that in October it'll come back. $50,000 to $60,000 more than what's listed there, which will be a nice problem to have. Special project grants, a CTE and educator effectiveness, that remains the same. The AGR, formerly known as SAGE, that remains the same at that $151,800. Computer aid, other state revenue. So the total 600s are $5,669,701. Then we move into the federal revenues. This is where I've had a couple changes from the preliminary budget. If you guys recall, we applied for the DOJ, that safety grant that you've probably been hearing a lot about and that we've been talking about at previous meetings. So that number is included. I didn't have that budgeted in the preliminary budget, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, the DOJ safety grant, that's that safety grant that we've been talking about. So those numbers are in. We received that grant for this year, so I budgeted $41,839. And as previously shared with you guys, that number, with that grant, there are certain things that have to be ordered, some window treatments, I guess, for lack of better terms, as far as some things that they're putting on the windows. And then you have, they taught to make decisions after that. So we're looking at we have purchased and already installed in this building all new cameras system, which is really nice. We made some additional cameras for some areas that were that we didn't have access to cameras. Then some of the money is going to be CPI training for our special ed director, Mrs. Jacobchek, to do crisis prevention. She's going to be the trainer, where she's doing that already, where she trains our staff to be CPI certified. So long story short there, or short story long, I should say, the DOJ grant money came in, and that's the official number. So that $41,839, which increased the total federal revenue and ultimately increased the overall revenue budget, that little less than 42,000. So the total 700s is now 182,574. Sales of fixed assets, that's just a best guess. We've been selling kind of random stuff when we are we have some computers that we'll probably sell with the one-to-one initiative. We don't need them anymore. Then we've had some old TVs I'm not even sure work, to be honest. That's just a company kind of came in and purchased them for scrap. So just a best guess. Other revenue, 900s, that's the insurance claims. That's just the best guess. So our total revenues for Fund 10 is at $7,372,213 total. So again, that number is just ballpark $42,000 because of the DOJ grant, more than what the preliminary budget had previously had on it. Okay, so if we move to page 8, into the expenditures of Fund 10. Again, the only thing that's changed on this is that $42,000. You have it on the revenue side. We have a zero-based budget, so now that has to come out on the expenditure side. So the regular instruction, undifferentiated curriculum, that $1,632,262. Those numbers are all the same. Regular curriculum, just a little bit over $1 million. Vocational curriculum, that little over $280,000. Physical curriculum, right around that $202,000 mark. Co-curricular, $217,122. Gifted and talented. So the total regular instruction is at $3,453,500. Then we move into support services. This is the area where that $42,000 is now has now been distributed kind of into two areas. Pupil services remain the same. Educational media is at $222,133. District administration, $348,778. Building administration, $470,180. Some of that $42,000 has been put into the business administration, and then I believe also educational media. I believe those two areas, because of the type of grant that the DOJ grant is. It's going to be coming out of those two, whether it's technology because of the cameras or business administration, more your maintenance and operational facilities stuff. So now the business administration is $1,280,017. Central services is $152,406. Other support services, retirees and CISA, is $90,000. Insurance and judgments are at $96,046. Total support services, now that's an increase. So now that's a $2,776,000 $1,082. The inter-fund transfers and below are all, those numbers I believe are all the same. We have the special education transfer at $606,184. And we move down to the fund 39 is $59,864 transfer. Open enrollment, again, it's really a best guess, and that's one of the most difficult kind of best guesses, because there's so much movement within the open enrollment population. There's no way to even have a best guess other than basing it off of what you've previously had, and that can change even throughout the year and right up to your count dates. So both those in and out open enrollments are based off of our last year's numbers and what we have access to currently right now to date. $476,583. So the total interfund transfers just over $1 million, so $1,142,631. So total expenditures reflects the same as the total revenues. Like I said, we're a zero-based budget, so it's at $7,372,213 for total expenditures coming out of Fund 10. So we move into Fund 27, which is our special education budget, or special projects fund, which is all money regarding special education. So like I said, the transfer from Fund 10 for revenues is $606. That's coming out of the Fund 10, $606,184. Transitive state aids, $10,000 best guess. State aid, $170,000 best guess, and then special project money, $200,000. So total Fund 27 revenues and total Fund 27 expenditures are exact same at $986,184. Moving into Fund 38 and Fund 39. So Fund 38, property taxes, we have $579,963 with accumulated interest of $100. So the total revenues of Fund 38 is $580,063, and then the total Fund 38 expenditures a little bit more than that at $583,151. And then Fund 39, we have operating transfer is that $59,864. Local taxes, $441,609, and then interest income is $60. Total fund revenues for 39 is $501,533. Expenditures for Fund 39, the principal on debt is $230,000. Interest on debt is $210,923. $400 debt retirement fee, and then the Fund 39 expenditures a little lower than the revenues, which is the $441,323. Fund 46, that's kind of our safety net account that we've created. It's got that $100,000, which hopefully we are on track right now for that money to be allocated towards a new roof for this building, hopefully within, or at least have some portion of the final cost of a new roof for this building. We've had to continue to have leak issues. We have some people coming in and do patchwork, but we still have continue. Even today we had some leaks, so it's definitely will be a larger problem than it is now in a couple of years. Fund 50, which is our food service fund. This really is a self-sustaining fund. As you can see, we don't have any transfer in, which I do know some districts have to pull money from their Fund 10 to operate their Fund 50 account. We don't. We have a meal revenue of $200,000. Commodities are $30,000. Again, these are best guesses from the previous years. Wisconsin Food Service aid at $7,900, and federal food service aid $185,000. Total Fund 50 revenues $422,900. Total expenditures reflect that same as the revenues at $422,900. Fund 72 is the scholarship fund. It's pretty straightforward too. We have gifts. Best guess for this one is $14,000 for the gifts. Interest at $10,000, and then total Fund 72 revenues $24,000. Which, if you look down, the total Fund 72 expenditures reflects the same. Then we move into Fund 80, which is our community ed fund, community service fund. Revenues, we have property taxes at $30,000, and then other revenues at $50,000, totaling an $80,000 amount for the Fund 80 revenues, which reflects the total Fund 80 expenditures. So we have salaries, benefits, and then other expenses in there. Okay, so this, can't remember, I think this was a request 2 years ago. So these next couple pages are just kind of graph out and explain a little bit of our district as far as the percentages of the different money that we receive. So for Fund 10, our revenues, our state revenue is 77% of our funding is our state. It comes from the state, which is a lot of our money. So we really are, the numbers that come from the state really impact us in a lot of ways. So that's just over, $5.5 million. It's $5,669,701. So 17%, or 77%, I'm sorry, is state revenue. Local, which are your property taxes, 14% come out of our property taxes. So rate, just a little bit over $1 million there. And then 2% come from the federal aid, so $140,735. And then other revenue, 7% kind of left over from other areas. Same for the, I'm sorry, not the same. Now we look at the Fund 10 expenditures. You look at kind of where that money is going toward, or what that money goes toward. The instructional costs, 47% of our budget goes to instructional costs, little less than $3.5 million. Non-program cost is 16%, so $1,184,470, and then support services, $2,734,243. On page 12, now this is our kind of a breakdown of total all of the different funds for Clear Lake. Fund 10 is what we can refer to it as our general fund. The Fund 10 is almost 75% of our budget comes out of Fund 10. So it's our Fund 10 budget is $7,372,213. Fund 27, which is our special ed fund, is about 10% of our budget, $986,184. Combined 38 and 39 because they're really intertwined. That's the referendum and then the energy efficiency funds. So between Fund 38 and Fund 39, that's 11% of our budget, $1,024,474. 4% of our budget is Fund 50, which is our food service, at $422,900. And then 1% of our budget, and I think it's a little less than 1%, but I rounded up to 1%, is $80,000 is the Fund 80. And then the fund, total fund expenditures reflects the exact same as the total fund revenues. If you notice, the numbers on the next graphic are the exact same as the numbers above it. Gives you the same percentage because we do a zero-based budget, so it's the same coming out that's leaving. I'm sorry, that's coming in, that's coming out. Then lastly, for the budget, the proposed property tax value, 2018, sorry, I had another typo. 2019. So for the tax levies, again, this is, we talked about it, the preliminary budget, nothing has changed with this. This is all based off of the 1% of property value increase. I felt like that was a pretty safe bet, but these numbers could, if you've noticed every year, it adjusts a little bit. It's not always, since I've been here, it's not ever been right on. It's always a little bit off, but it's usually pretty close. But right now, this is based off the 1% property value increase, which is the mill rate of $9.78. So if you look at that graphic above, the Fund 10 levy of our levy is about 49%, Fund 39 is 21%, Fund 38 is 29%, and then Fund 80 is a 1% of the levy. The total school levy is at $2,074,788. And that's it for the budget. Like I said, not a whole lot of changes from the preliminary budget other than the $42,000 increase of the DOJ grant. So good problem to have that we received that grant. You guys have any questions regarding the numbers or the budget?
Personal reflection. I'm about to approve a mill rate that is less than the mill rate when I was on the board. And pretty much I'm going to be the voters of Clear Lake approving a smaller mill rate than what I approved as a board member. Gosh, I'm doing such a damn good job. I'm just amazing.
Good work.
These are broad shoulders here. But no, for anybody that questions what we do here, really, it's all right here. It's so easy to read and see it. So, and the other thing is on the Fed. Again, personal reflection on the Fed's contribution to public schools. I'm never impressed by folks from Washington, whether they're White House, congressmen, or senators, who tell us that they're education candidates. They give us 2% about what it costs to pay an administrator. Thanks, but no thanks. You're not that important.
It's about what it costs to still control what happens.
Yeah. So their contribution is meh. So yeah, I kudos to the board, kudos to you, sir.
Thanks.
I'd like to move approval of the budget and the tax levy of 9.78 mill rate. Is that what we're looking for here?
Yep.
That's my motion here.
Do I hear a second on the floor?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the budget and tax levy at the rates at which Mr. Dean has stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passes. The budget and tax levy have been approved. The next item of business is the approval of the school board salaries.
Yeah, seeing as how I've been kind of a big mouth on that deal, I want to ask the school board, has that been working for y'all? And I mean, seriously, we can be honest in the room. A few years ago, I made a motion that the board salaries be connected to your ongoing education. That you would stay a part of WASB and other functions that when I was on board, I found enormously beneficial to me. Has that been functional? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's working real well. I do.
All right.
Like that last conference we all went to, and
Yeah.
so yes.
helpful.
Good. Well, then I'd like to say that what was approved last time, I'd like to again move that those salaries be as they were approved last year, which was it 26? Somebody help me? 26? As it is connected to your ongoing education with WASB. I wish I could remember my specific brilliant motion of a couple of years ago.
Do you want me to
Whatever
bring it
that
up
was,
for you?
that's what I'm asking
These
again.
two every year in a 3-year term, 3 times a year.
Yes, okay. So that, say it again.
It says that when they participate in at least 2 Wisconsin Association workshops every year in their 3-year term. So 6 times.
Yeah. And we boosted it last year, I think, to 26.
Yes.
Yep, from
Okay.
25 to 26.
Again, that's my motion, so.
Beautiful. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the school board salaries to continue the same as what we did last year with the same wording. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item of business is the consent agenda, and usually we kind of group them all together, so I'll read through them to start out with here. Item A, authorize the operation of a school lunch program, to authorize the provision for student insurance, to authorize the board to short-term borrow to continue the operation of the district, to authorize the board to sell tangible surplus property, to authorize reimbursement of school board members for expenses incurred, to authorize the board to transport students, to authorize the prosecution of defense of any school litigation, and that is our consent agenda.
Yeah, I would like to move that we approve the consent agenda on all the above.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as read. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And then the next item of business is the state of the district. And Mr. Ernst will start with the superintendent's report.
All right, so before I do that, I'll just kind of go through the little bit more of the packet. On page 14, we've included, this was on there last year, the mission statement and the core values, which was board approved on that July 25th, 2016. On page 15, it just has a list of the district profile, addresses, phone numbers for the different buildings in the district. On page 16, we have our 2018-2019 calendar, so you can see all of our in-service and days that the students are in session and stuff that's going on throughout the district. Page 17, we had this last year as well, a list of the athletic and extracurricular and recreational activities that are offered in the district with the listing of the whether it's the head coach or the supervisor. So that first section on page 17 is our athletic programs that are WIA affiliated. Then the second section is the extracurricular programs not WIA affiliated, with the cross country now included on that top section as one of our sports that we offer, which was a good year. And then we move into page 18. This was an addition, the notable accomplishments for the district. So I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between my report and then this notable accomplishments as well. We had really a great year. This was a successful year on a lot of different areas in the district, both instructionally and academically, but then also athletics and activities that we had in the district. We had a lot of good stuff when we sat down and we're going through the different grants that we received, the different awards that different kids got and adults got, and how the sports teams did. So it was a very successful year for the Clear Lake District. So fun to be a part of as an administrator. So initiatives for this year, we're going to continue from last year our work with one-to-one. Our hopes was this year that we were going to do a full implementation of one-to-one, which we're doing. But last year the elementary moved forward pretty quickly, and it moved forward even faster than we had anticipated, and we ended up having enough money to purchase all of the Chromebook carts for all of the classrooms last year. So we really were in almost full swing last year with one-to-one at the elementary. This year we're doing full one-to-one Chromebook take home from 9 through 12, and then from 8th grade on down to 7th grade here in this building, it's going to kind of be that transition period of 1-to-1, but not a true take-home 1-to-1. Their Chromebooks are going to be housed here, and they'll have to be a checkout basis whether or not those go home or not, and most of them will stay housed here overnight. So exciting to see a lot more technology being introduced and implemented in the building. A lot of staff are excited about it, and the Google's taken off. We have staff that are using the Google Classroom. With the push from administration is that we're not using it for replacing any curriculum, but just to enhance the curriculum. I think too often you see it replacing curriculum, and I think that's not a good idea. So we're trying to put the Chromebooks in staff and student hands. So it'll be full 1-to-1 right away at the beginning of the year. We'll be rolling those out within the first couple weeks of school. Like I shared with you either the last board meeting or the meeting before, I had my last meeting with the Neola company revising the district policies. So those are darn near completed. Just have a couple of revisions on my own end to finish up, and then we're going to be going section by section to the board. So that was a huge undertaking, but it was a nice process to work with the Neola company, and specifically Stu Waller. Really provided a lot of guidance, and a lot of good conversation came of it with me and him, and be able to ask him a lot of questions throughout the process. So it was good. In this building, we redid some project stuff. We redid the high school gym floor. So if you've taken a walk down to the gym, it looks beautiful. The floor really looks nice. Some elementary doors were replaced over at the elementary, and then the elementary kindergarten playground was dug up and redone because of some issues with drainage. Mr. Peterson's going to talk a little bit, but this is year 2 of our open house at the elementary. It was a huge success last year. We're doing it again this year. From a parent perspective, it was fantastic for myself as a parent, and then also as a father, for the kids to go in there and get comfortable, get to meet their teachers, and get acclimated with the classroom and their teacher. So that was a huge success. We're doing that again. Another initiative that we've already started and we've shared with you, the curriculum and standards work. Continue to move forward with that. And then also continue to work on emergency procedures. We updated those last year, and there's about 4 kind of procedures that we are going to be working on this year to introduce those and implement those into part of our emergency plans. And then notable accomplishments on page 18 and 19. So academics and instruction, kind of broke them into a couple different sections. But so the first section is academics and instruction. Successful year with advanced placement. Mr. Gillis is going to talk a little bit about that during his report. Like I already shared previously, we were recipient of the DOJ safety grant, which is little over $41,000. And then these are just a list of our grant. We had a really big year for grants, which was nice. Some newer grants. Small rural schools grant, the SRSA, was a new grant from last year. We received it again this year. That was a little over $23,000. So we were able to purchase some new music risers, some risers in the band and music area at the high school, and some other purchases with that. But Teach grant was $7,500. Perkins grant, which we've received in the past, was a little over $5,000. Educator effectiveness grant, which is part of that grant to help us provide funding for our evaluation system for the evaluating the staff in the building. Title I grant we received again at little over $87,000. Title II grant was just a hair over $20,000. Title IV was $10,000. Then we received the FFA grant this year. Mrs. Schott applied for $30,000, and I believe with the work of Mr. Peterson's daughter as well, right? Wasn't she part of that process? Yeah, helped out with writing that grant. So that was a lot of money for the FFA program. Tony Cook Memorial Grant with that Mrs. Funk applied for, we received, which was $1,000. The one-to-one initiative, I already shared with you guys that we're going to continue with that initiative. We're going to keep applying for the Fab Lab grant. I believe again this year. We didn't receive it last year, but we're moving forward with that classroom. with the purchase with your approval. If you recall, we purchased that laser engraver. The Herb Cole recipient, Sean Singh, which is really remarkable and impressive. I couldn't have gone to a better kid. Elementary open house, I shared a little bit. We're doing that again. That was a huge success. Threw in the Battle of the Buses champion, Mr. Larson. I felt like he deserved that credit. He won first. I think it was our first win ever. Then we had the second place Mary Jo Nedesheim literacy contest, Isaac Anderson in 5th grade. With the Quiz Bowl champions, 5th grade Quiz Bowl champions, 6th grade Quiz Bowl, they took 3rd place. We had 9 students for the first time ever get Microsoft certified out of Mrs. Peterson's room in the business ed room. And then I just put employability skills course, which is kind of tied to that laser engraver. It's a collab taught class with one of our special education teachers and Mr. Larson, our technology classroom teacher, and they were doing the laser engraving. Mostly they were doing the screen printing out of there for employability, for the students with used to be cognitive delays. Now they call it intellectual delays, our ID room, special education room. Then we moved on to athletics and activities. We had the football team. They were the South Lakeland Conference champions. They also went to level 3 of the playoffs. The volleyball team, we had first team all-conference Maggie Rosine and Rain Vagnus. Volleyball, a second team all-conference was Juliana Rosine and Maddie Zimmer. They were also, as a team, made it to the regional finals. Cross country had an all-conference, 2 all-conference runners, Natalie Cryer and Isaac Pearson, which, if you step back and really think about it, is very impressive. We had this second year of the program, and we have 2 kids that were all-conference. So really neat to see Mrs. Niles, thank you, blanking. Mrs. Niles is really doing a nice job with that program and building that up for kids to have another opportunity in Clear Lake. Boys basketball, as you recall, forced us to even cancel school, which was a nice problem to have. It was fun to be a part of. The boys basketball team qualified for state down in Madison. The girls basketball team made it to the regional finals. We had first team all conference Maggie Rosine and Juliana Rosine. Second team all conference Maddie Zimmer. Honorable mention was Montana Niles. And then we had wrestling team qualified for the regional championships, made it to the regional finals. And then we had Ryan Anderson, Nick Zempt, Gabe Colbeth, and Noah Wazorek all qualified for the state tournament down in Madison, which was fun to be a part of as well, with Ryan winning the whole thing down there. We had track state qualifiers, Jazzy Christensen and Josh Levra. Softball, we had second team all conference Juliana Rosine, Maddie Zimmer, and Maggie Rosine. Basketball, we're conference champions in the East Lakeland Conference champions.
Baseball.
What's that?
Baseball.
I'm sorry, baseball. Starting to blend together. Baseball also made it to the regional finals, which was a fun run and fun to watch. Golf, Hunter Brenny was 11th all-conference. Cal Rosine was a scholar athlete recipient, which was also very impressive and couldn't have gone to a better kid, and very neat kid, so well deserved. Then we had a big year for the Trap and Skeet Club. We had a state qualifier, Amelia Johnson. We had all-conference Kira Pickard. We had all-state Hunter Pickard and Ashton Duden. We had club national individual qualifiers, Hunter Pickard, Ashton Duden, Wyatt Rindell, Kira Pickard, Shane Larson, Kenny Johnson, and Jack Pepper. Then we had Samantha Hurd take second at nationals for FCCLA. Nikki Katz was the national delegate for FFA. Parker Rindall received $2,000 in the FFA National Scholarship. And then for Visual Arts Classic State, we had 11 golds, 3 silvers, and 1 bronze. And then we had an all-state honors choir, Elizabeth Larson. So really phenomenal year overall for our student body, academically and athletically and activity-wise. Really neat to be a part of. So a fantastic year. For the class of 2018, something new we just put in there. We had 34% of our class of 2018 are now attending a 4-year college. We have 41% are now attending a 2-year technical college, 21% entering the workforce, and 4% that have decided to join the military. So kind of a breakdown of the percentages of where everybody's going. And then we had 3 retirements this year. We had Mike Larson, who was a band instructor from 1988 to 2018, so 30 years in the district. And then Diane Blanchard, who was also in the district from 1990 to 2018. From 1990 to 2006, she was a paraeducator. And then from 2007 to 2018, she was a special education teacher, totaling 28 years. And then Mrs. Nielsen, Cindy Nielsen, in the main office in the high school, was the administrative assistant for 23 years from 1995 to 2018. So a lot of years leaving the district, but it definitely speaks to how long individuals are staying in the district too. We have 3 individuals here for almost all 3 were over 30 years in the district, so all 3 over 25 years. So on behalf of the Board of Education and the Clear Lake School District, I'd like to thank those 3. I know we did this before, but I can't thank them enough for their years of service. That's a lot of time in the profession, a lot of time in one school district. Okay, so then, like I said, a lot of good stuff, but there's so many people that are involved in the success of these students and the overall building. I'd like to take this time to thank a lot of different people in the district, not only for last year, but then also through the summer and preparing for this school year. I'd like to thank the district office, Mrs. Karnick and Ms. Norby in the district office for all that they do. The administrative offices from Mrs. Labry, Mrs. Seiler, Mrs. Robel, and Mrs. Johnson for all the work that preparing now for the 2018-19 year and the previous year. A lot goes into it. Thank you to the 2 principals, Mr. Gillis and Mr. Peterson. The food staff, I know we didn't have summer school food service, but there's so much that goes all the way up to the end of the year and then getting ready to prepare for the school year, and then also in services for staff. So Mrs. Kobernick and her crew. I'd like to thank the custodial crew, Mr. Osmond and his crew. The building grounds are really looking nice. They do a lot of work to make sure both buildings and both campuses are ready to go for the year, and also just keeping it up for throughout the school year. But then also, not just when students walk through the doors, but the building has felt like school has been in session for a couple weeks now, with sports moving earlier and earlier. I feel like it was just a switch got turned on in both buildings, more so this building, I should say, than the elementary, but a lot more adults and students moving throughout the building. The guidance counseling staff, Mrs. Kaler and Mrs. Millar, for their work getting kids ready with schedules, families moving in, open enrollments, kids leaving, kids coming, files going back and forth between districts. Transportation service, Mr. Pett, Mrs. Johnson, and the bus crew. That almost runs all year long, with a little bit of break in July and August. But for the most part, things are, even in August, things are getting prepared and ready for the year. Technology staff, the other Mr. Osmond-Rude, Mr. B. Osmond-Rude, has been doing just a fantastic job with our technology initiatives. It's been a big push from administration to, I just really believe that we have to get technology into kids' hands, and we're doing that. And a lot of that is due to Mr. Osmond-Rude, Mrs. Meyer, Mr. Crawford. Those 2 are 2 kind of tech support individuals as part of their teaching roles. But between those 3 and Bo Osmond-Rude, Mr. Osmond-Rude has really been doing it. We've been trying it this year per his request to kind of go solo. We lost Dylan, went to a different job, and he's been kind of running things on his own. So we're kind of trying that this year, but it's put a lot more on his shoulders, and he's just doing a remarkable job getting everything. And then on top of it, we received, like I said, the $42,000 grant, which means you have money to spend, which means you have things that are coming in that need to be installed and put up, and he's doing a great job. Like to thank the overall teaching staff. I mean, it's a grind of a year, long year, with kids in the building, and then it doesn't just end. They're been multiple teachers. If you walk through either building, their classrooms don't just magically appear on that first day. I mean, they do a great job getting all the name tags and beautiful tack boards and seating arrangements and different things in the classrooms ready to go. So very impressive staff that we have here, along with the support staff helping the teaching staff getting everything ready. Also like to thank our summer school staff. Both principals were involved, but Mr. Peterson and Mrs. Weiss also kind of taking the lead over at the elementary, and then all of the teachers and support staff for the summer school to make sure that we had opportunities for the kids in our area throughout the summer. And then lastly, I'd like to thank the Board of Education for all your support and trusting the admin team to allow us to do our job. I've really appreciated it. I feel like you guys have responded really well and heard me loud and clear with eliminating any micromanagement and not micromanaging the three of us and trusting that we'll do our job. And we truly appreciate it. And all three of us have the best interests of the kids. So I feel like things are really, it was a great year, but I don't want to speak to last year alone, because I feel like a lot of it is a continual process that we're continuing to move forward with these initiatives. So a lot of good stuff happening. So now I'll turn it over to the two principals for their report. My throat's starting to get sore, so I think I've done enough talking.
All right, I'll just do brief things. I know some of them were touched on already, but just again, reiterate, very successful summer school program. You guys have heard about this already. 152 kids with a little bit smaller group this year. All right, we have new staff. Looking forward to it. The elementary school, if you recall, those folks, we were fortunate to hire a part-time music teacher to teach kindergarten through second grade. That's Nicole Corbett. And Jody Barney was hired to be a special education paraprofessional, so she'll be an aide in our building now. Again, excited to continue with one-on-one technology initiatives. Remember, we have junior kindergarten through second grade, very little of junior kindergarten, but K through 2 with using iPads and Chromebooks to grades 3 through 6. Excited to offer we're going to use a new online personalized learning tool as a supplement. But it's called MobiMax. It was piloted last year by special ed teachers and Title I teacher, and it's an online platform the kids can go in and supplements things with math, reading, language arts, science, social studies, where teachers can monitor what the kids are doing, and they do assessments, and they can assign them things to challenge them or to remediate them wherever the kids may need it. So we're excited to offer that to all of our kids this year. Facility work, as Mr. Ernst mentioned, kindergarten, playground, some drainage work. New doors installed in the 6th grade area and the staff entrance in the northway. Those were the last couple doors that were not upgraded during the remodel. So now we've basically got all new doors. So that's great. Junior Warriors this year, we're going to offer wraparound care for junior kindergarten, both in the morning and the afternoon. We've had it just in the afternoon the last few years. We've got enough interest, we're able to do it now. We'll have wraparound care for morning and afternoon. So that just means daycare provided opposite of the half-day JK program for parents who elect to do it if they choose. Again, second year of the open house went fantastic last year, exceeded expectations. That'll be on the first day, the first quote-unquote day of school, Tuesday the 4th of September. It runs from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. for parents. For the elementary students, remember there's no buses for elementary students on that day. Parents bring their kids to school and go through the open house at the time of their choosing. Do school pictures, meet your teacher, get a tour, drop off your supplies and medicines, things like that. Here, if you want to, you can hear presentations from the teachers and from yours truly. Get your paperwork filled out for the year. We had a great response last year with community groups coming in and having displays in there. Had a great response again this year. We'll have several community groups in the Commons advertising what they offer. So made for a great first day of school last year. You could just feel less stress from the kids, parents, teachers, because a lot of those just first day questions got taken care of on open house day with mom and dad present, and it just was such a more relaxed feeling on the first day of school. It was awesome. Great. So our enrollment is up in the elementary a bit. We've got a junior kindergarten class of 44 replacing a 6th grade class of 36. And then we've also had a lot of kids moving in this year. We have We had 7 students that we know of that have moved out of the district, but we have 21 moving into the district, so a big plus this year there. So that's great. So it's been fun trying to enroll all those kids and get them into classes and everything, into sections. Again, I want to say thank you to a lot of people too. And Mrs. Robles been working her tail off all summer with just enrolling kids and uploading reports to the state and data management to the state that we have to do every year. And especially, filling in with Mrs. Nielsen not being here anymore too, kind of helping with that transition over in that process. Prepping for the year and helping me out a ton. Mrs. Johnson, Billy Joe Johnson's been in for a long time now, working on building all the bus routes and managing all that. That's a huge project that she does. Mrs. Jacobchek been in the summer for special education, getting preparations for kids with unique needs so that we're ready for them on the first day. We have things in place for them to support those kids from day one. And again, custodial staff, technology staff, as Mr. Ernst said, Mr. Pat, bus drivers have been in working, getting their routes ready, calling parents. The cooks have been in prepping. And then also the teachers. The building's just been full of teachers. I always joke around by the end of the summer. I've usually got the teachers and the custodians both mad, because I'm stuck in the middle. The custodians wanting me to hold off the teachers a little longer so they can finish cleaning the building, and then the teachers pushing to try to get in sooner. But no, it's been great, and custodians did an awesome job getting through the building, and the teachers have been in working in their rooms, and so it's definitely feels like we're ready. So looking forward to a great year this year.
Stand up and do mine because I'm sick of sitting. I'm going to start off with AP scores. We had, in 2017, we had 14 AP students, advanced placement students. This past year we had 23, so a nice increase there. Of the 23 AP students, they took 31 total AP exams. Some students are in more than one AP class, in English, Lit, Comp, and United States History and Calculus. And of those 31 AP exams, 14 scored a 3 or better, which earned them college credit for those courses. So a nice turnout for the college credit earning part of that AP program. I'd like to thank my AP teachers that go over and above and teach and extend their curriculum to push those kids. New hires in the building. I'm happy to announce we hired Heather Seiler as Cindy Nielsen's replacement. For those of you that, to kind of wrap your head around how long Cindy's been here, she announced at the retirement party that she's trained in 5 principals. This year's interesting. It's my first year. She had all the piles out. She said, "This day you do this, and this day you do that." And I don't have that this year, so it'll be interesting to see if we miss anything. We snagged Nick Brahan as our new band director. He's been in the building working with pep band already, getting ready for football games. They weren't at the last game because it looked like it was going to open up on the instruments, and they're quite expensive, so they weren't there. And they're finishing up the marching season this fall, I'm sure. We were very fortunate to hire Landon Strilzik as our new special ed teacher. For those of you that aren't familiar with how difficult that is to find one this year, there's still 181 posted special ed jobs this close to the school year starting in the state. So we're very fortunate to pull in Landon. He's going to be taking over for Ms. Tronsted's room. Ms. Tronsted's going to transfer over to Mrs. Blanchard's program and run that for us. So we're really happy that we've got him and we're going to get him up to speed. Athletics moving forward, we kind of talked about the past year. Homecoming's a little early again this year. It's the last week of September, the 24th through the 28th, and we play Elmwood Plum City in the homecoming game on the 28th. Currently football's 2-0. They won at Cameron, and they had a solid win over Boyceville last Friday night. Volleyball's doing well. They just finished up a big tournament down in Alaska. They competed down there, and they went 6-4 against a number of schools that are quite a bit larger than we were. So that was a good experience. They had a summer camp with Anders Nelson, who was a coach at the University of Kentucky, and girls really learned and enjoyed that. They start the regular season Thursday night against Turtle Lake. Cross country is up 2 more runners this year. I believe they've got 14 out, so that program continues to grow and do well. Thanks to Christy Niles for bringing that along for us and getting that program going, and giving kids another option. I just received word today for the music department. We got 2 certificates today from the WSMA, which is the Wisconsin Music Association. And our junior and senior high have met accreditation standards for excellence in music. So we'll put those up on the wall. 7th grade orientation is tomorrow night, where we welcome students and parents in the building and get them familiar with the building. Got some activities planned where they go around and meet their teachers and check out the locker area and try their combination and put their materials in and all that kind of stuff to get them kind of excited about entering the building, so take away a little anxiety. The project lab continues to develop. If you remember, last year was our first year. We converted one of our classrooms into what we're going to call the project lab, where that space is available to any teacher that would like to sign up for it, up to a week at a time. And the purpose was to have a flexible, usable space, so if they wanted to do a project-based learning kind of a project, where when you have an 8-period day in your classroom, you have to set it up and take it down because there's another group of kids coming in. This gives us a space where they can sign up for and set it up and leave it set up and run a cycle of an entire project in that space if they'd like. We moved some more tables in there, took out some of the desks to make it a more flexible space this year. There's sinks in there, countertops, there's a printer in there, an overhead projector, LCD projector. So it's a nice space. We had 2 or 3 teachers try it out last year and they were very happy with it. So I hope to see that continue to grow this year. Let's see, as far as curriculum work, as Mr. Ernst mentioned, we're working with our teachers to continue to align our curriculum to Wisconsin state standards. Our breakout teams of each core area has been meeting throughout the school year. We try to meet at least every other week, and so teachers can talk about how their alignment process is going, and then we can move to start having some aligned assessment practices and grading practices that also align with state standards. We've got a couple new curriculum offerings in the building. Mr. Crawford is going to offer a class over the ITV network out to other schools as well, based on the Hamilton Broadway show. I don't know if you've heard about that in the news and that kind of thing. He's going to have a class where they dig in and they talk about the Hamilton productions and what they represent and how that affected the history in our country. He's going to offer that class. He's also going to offer a class called the Medal of Honor. He attended a summer course about the whole Medal of Honor process and what that stands for in our country. And it spins off and takes kind of a character ed approach. So he's going to offer that class. Workplace Basics will be starting year 2. That's a team talk class that Mr. Ernst mentioned between Mr. Larson and Ms. Tronstedt in the special ed area. Students got the opportunity to work on learning some workplace basic skills like ordering and inventory and bookkeeping, invoicing, and then they were doing the practical skills of screen printing and just got a chance to use the laser engraver a little bit because we had a demo model in here at the end of the year, and now we have one in place that's installed, so we'll be able to keep that course growing. Lastly, some tech things. As Mr. Ernst mentioned, we're going to roll out one-to-one building-wide. That's, there's several things that are going to come from that, possibly eliminating some printing costs, do more things online with Google Classroom. So reducing some printing needs. I'd really like to commend Bo Osmondrud as far as rolling out this stuff. His room has just been packed up to here all summer, and he's efficiently just getting us ready, and I think it'll be really a nice rollout process. Lastly, related to that, I want to commend Nick Crawford. He's developing professional development materials for our tech to do in our PD in-service time, to help people get familiar with the Chromebooks and what student uses there might be, and to train them in using the Google Classroom. We had a few dabbling last year and trying it out. This year we're going to try to continue to work forward and use more of the Google Classroom as far as a place to warehouse curriculum for students and turn in their assignments digitally, and to be able to network with the teacher back and forth and make comments on assignments and continue to improve them. I would like to really thank the admin team and the office staff, both offices as well. And we've got outstanding people in our offices that really work hard to support the teachers and the kids in the building. So I'm proud to be part of the team. Thank you.
Well, thank you to all 3 of you guys, our administration team, and if I could, if you guys would allow me to thank the good Lord for having such a good group of people in our district here working with common goals, and the support makes our job easy, and it makes it fun. So we're going to do our due diligence with that, and we'll all just continue going on down the road and see what kind of magic we can make happen. So thank you to everybody. The next agenda
I
item
just
is...
named two more, a couple
Oh,
more
go
people
ahead.
new to the district that just kind of fall more, not specific to one building, but Tom Osmond-Rude, which you guys board approved, is the head custodian. We still have to hire a part-time custodian, which is that to be determined at TBD. We're doing interviews yet this week, Mr. Gillis and myself. And then transportation, we have a new transportation person, a new bus driver. Kevin Marlette has joined the district, and he'll be one of our drivers. So I think that's it for new staff.
Well, as long as we're welcoming new people, Ryan Munson, welcome to the board. Christy Covernick,
Yeah, Ryan.
welcome to the board. Okay, then we'll move on to our next item of business, discussion of future agenda, meeting date. And I guess I'll just leave that open.
Fourth Monday of the month is August 26th, 2019.
So now you're down to one board meeting a month, correct? And is that typically first or second?
Second Monday of every month.
So this is an off Monday from the
Yep.
board meeting? Okay, does that work?
Yep,
For you
so
all?
we'll have a board of whatever that second Monday of the month is, just like this year. We'll have a board meeting, and then the fourth Monday will be our annual meeting, if that's what you guys would like to do.
So changing it doesn't help you or hinder you, it's half a dozen of one, six of another.
Yeah, we're kind of, this is going to be our first year doing the one board meeting a month.
All right,
Hopefully, we're going to use some of those odd Mondays, though, to do some of the work, some board work.
okay,
So,
okay. As a voter, I'm saying this works for me, so keep it on the last Monday of the month, looks good to me.
do we
Does that
need
need to be a motion?
It doesn't have to be. I mean, it can now, or you guys, like this year, you made a motion
In
a
the
couple
meetings.
meetings, a couple
Oh, it
meetings
was two
ago.
meetings ago.
Yeah, 2 meetings ago for this
that
Monday.
this Monday? So,
Sure.
yeah, we don't need one for now, but now we have the talking points to go over 10 months from now.
All right. Well, and before we dismiss then, because I'm going to make a motion to adjourn in just about a half a minute, and that is that my deepest gratitude to this board for making it boring, for keeping it steady, for keeping it productive, progressive,
Student focus.
and keeping it supportive to this administrative team who are outstanding, seeing to it that they can do their job with your best oversight, your best accountability, and your best support. That just makes me super happy and proud to be a part of this district. I don't think any district in our region can compare to the longevity of the quality that this district produces. And that's in large part due to a productive, intelligent board that allows the administrative team to do their job. So,
Thanks.
congratulations, everybody. Thank you. I'm happy to be representative of the voters of the district, clearly.
Then, with that said,
I move we adjourn.
do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. This meeting is adjourned.
Good job.